We are live. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Success Chat. I am your host, Laneice McGee, and this is brought to you by Project Restoration. And you can meet us here monthly, where we discuss the real journey, the real sacrifice, the real costs and rewards of following and living your dream. The goal of our monthly chat, this monthly discussion, is that you will leave inspired, but also that you will be motivated to reach your own dreams and goals. Each month, we sit and we discuss with a different person to learn about their dreams, their goals, and how did they overcome different challenges that they may have faced in their own life. I'm telling y'all, every month, I try not to say that I'm a crybaby, but I have even shed some tears, y'all, because these stories have been so impactful and just really hearing people's stories, hearing the things that they have done, and just seeing how they have overcome and learning the things that they have done. It is so inspiring too, and it just motivates me. And I know that you will be inspired as well. So, Project Restoration, just in case you never heard about Project Restoration, Walter L. Fields Jr. is the executive director over Project Restoration. There is 8 pillars of services through this organization. Number one being focused on helping those in the reentry population to reintegrate back into the community, which is the birthing of the Success Chat. So I intentionally look for people who may have had a background and now they're living la vida loca. I don't know. They're living successful, right? They are living their life. They have not allowed anything to stop them from living their best life. And so, if you want to know more about the organization and more about what they do at Project Restoration, because they have education, they have training, they have emergency services, employment services, anything that you can think of, please visit us at projectrestorationmke.org. And that is restoration.mke.org. I will put that in the chat box as well. All righty. All right. Enough with all the nice local updates. I am ready to introduce you and get to chatting with our featured guest for today, which is Ed Hennings. I am so excited to talk with him today because when I started doing the chat, people kept saying, "Oh, you need to talk to Ed Hennings." And I'm like, "Who is Ed Hennings?" So I sent him a Facebook request. And I'm like, "How am I ever going to meet Mr. Ed Hennings? He's just like amazing, right? He is so amazing." And so when I met him, which was just a miracle to me, okay? So he doesn't even know this story. Like, I had wanted to meet him. Like, I'm his secret fan, okay? So I had wanted to meet him because people had been talking about that I needed to interview him because they know that my passion is to interview people who have had a background, but now they're like living their life and they're living the best life. And I love to hear their story and I love to hear their journey. And so when I heard about him and then I was following him on Facebook and I'm like, oh, how am I going to connect with him? I just didn't see how it was going to be possible. Back in February, I attended this event and it was a conference. I can't remember the name of the conference and all that, but it was a really good conference. I will say that. It was a great conference. It was a great conference, and I'm happy that I went. And Ed happened to be there. He was one of the speakers. And I was like, oh my God, I'm Star Trek. Oh, he's here, he's here, he's here. And I didn't even really get a chance to talk to him like I wanted to, but never mind. That's okay. I still got the information. I got the little connection that I needed. That's all that matters. But I'm going to tell you, to be in, he's a motivational speaker, right? And I'm gonna let him do his own introduction because he's the bomb and you'll see why. But to actually be sitting in there and hear the passion and hear how he really, I understood why everybody said you need to connect with him. You need to hear his story. He needs to share his story to the world. He needs to share his story to the people that you know. Everybody needs to hear it because it's one thing to read about somebody, see about somebody, but then it's different when you're like right there and you're hearing their story and you're hearing more and more about it. It was amazing. But it was something that he said that stuck with me. And I'm butchering it because, of course, I'm not going to say exactly how he did, but it was so good. And this was back in February, and I still remember it. But he said that when he was doing time, how so many people are locked up, right? And they're in prison, and they want to get out, but they can't. And when he got out, what he realized was there are so many people that are out, but they're locked up. Now, I'm not saying exactly how he said it, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. And he can correct it and say it. See, he's smooth with it. You know, he's smooth with the words and how he said and everything. But man, the reality of that. Now, I'm sharing that with you to say that grab your coffee, ready to have a seat, grab your pen, get ready to take some notes because these nuggets you're going to get, I'm telling you, they're going to stick with you. They're going to encourage you because that was so good. I'm like, how many people are prisoners in their own mind? How many people are locked up, but yet they're free? They choose not to be. So, y'all, how we show welcome here is we give hearts, we give thumbs up. So let's give a thumbs up and a welcome to our guest, Mr. Hennings. Hey, yay! So welcoming you here. Welcome to the Success Chat. How you doing?
That's a good one. That's real good.
Do you remember saying that or something similar to that? Did
Yeah,
I get it close?
you did it. It was on point.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you have me.
Yes. So, you know, again, I was like your secret stalker, stalking your page, right? Finding out who you are, what you do, and how you do it. But there may be some people who don't know about you, don't know who you are and what you do. So if you could give us your commercial bio, like who are you? How do you do it? And how are you owning? I mean, because literally, seriously, you are owning the space that you are walking in right now. Can you share a little bit about who you are with us?
Okay. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm born and raised here, Capitol Drive area, 23rd. Um, I was a kid that was deemed gifted and talented at one point. Samuel Morse Middle School, pretty good grades, trying to find my way in this world. And at some point in my life, those things that I had hoped for, the gifted and talented, started to shift. And I started using those gifts and those talents for all the wrong reasons. And one day in 1996, I committed first degree reckless homicide after about 4 or 5 years of becoming the typical street guy. Took on the whole persona, took on the whole look, the whole mentality. I had became that, and it ended with me facing life in prison. I was sitting in the county jail, wondering what happened. June 11th, 1996. Didn't know what had happened in a blink of an eye, and a paper was slid under my door, and it said first degree intentional homicide, mandatory life sentence. And at that point in my life, or what I thought was my life, or what I had left of life, I was ready to throw in the towel. It was over for me. I didn't think it was no coming back from it. I didn't think I would ever see the streets again, the free world. And my mom came to see me that next day after the incident happened, and my mom seen that I was a broken broken young man. I was 24 years old. I had been running the streets for about 6 years, and I was thought I was tough. I thought I didn't really care. You know, that was during the era of toxic masculinity, which they call it. And really, toxic masculinity was just a term they dubbed it of don't care about nothing. And that's toxic. So when I say I took on that persona, I really did until that day in prison when I seen that life in front of me. And then I started to care again. And at that point, when my mom seen me broken, when my mom seen me throwing in that towel, my mom looked at me and she said, "It's not over." She said, "It's not over. We have to fight." So at that point, I didn't know what I was fighting, who I was fighting, or anything, what weapon or how I was going to fight. But mom said, "Let's fight." And that gave me just a glimmer of hope. My mom is a God fearing woman, goes to church every Sunday, her and my grandma. So I knew if anybody had any insight on how I was going to be able to handle the rest of my life in prison or even having a chance of coming back home, my mom gave me that glimmer right there. And as I went through my time in the county jail, going back and forth to trial, pleading self-defense and defense of others and things like that, at the end of my trial, the jury found me guilty of a lesser offense. Instead of first degree intentional homicide, I was found guilty of first degree reckless homicide, which carried a maximum sentence of 40 years. I was a first time offender. The judge still found it necessary to give me the whole 40 years. So I got the whole 40 years. Didn't complain, didn't whine, didn't blame anybody but myself for putting myself in the position that I was in with 40 years and headed up north Wisconsin. But what I did take with me going up north was that glimmer of hope that my mom gave me. And with that glimmer of hope, I began searching. I began looking through my life. I went through my files of life. Everything that anybody ever told me that was good, I replayed it over in my head. Any book, any magazine article, any newspaper article, any movie that I could watch where somebody overcame the odds, I absorbed it. I took it in, every bit of it, because I knew that I didn't want my life to end with the last moment that I had on June 11th, 1996. I wanted to redeem myself. So I spent my first couple of days, tears flowed, the heartache happened, the apologies. And after about 2 or 3 days, I went to work. I didn't spend 20 years crying and complaining. I spent 19 years, 363 days working on me. I spent that time trying to redeem myself and preparing myself for redemption.
Wow, that's 19 years. It's amazing. So you know what I want to do? I want to talk really quickly about those that may not know. You are an author,
Mhm.
The Answers, okay? And I want to get right into this. You see, I got some questions because you guys, and we're gonna talk a little bit about this in the end. Y'all got to get this, okay? That's all I'm saying. The Answers. So at the beginning of your book, and it's The Answers, a guide to passing the test of your life. This is really good. You talk about in the beginning, you said this book is dedicated to my grandfather, and because of him, I can share the answers with you. His wisdom is priceless. You'll find many of his words he's spoken to me and written in the page of this book. The reason why I was going to do this at the end, but because you started and you talked about your mom and you had that wisdom with you, it made me think about this. Um, it sounds like you grew up in a good family. Like you had the support that you needed. You had people, and you talk, and I'm not going to get into there's so much I could talk about, but you have the example of a positive male figure as well. Um, but yet you still ended up doing 20 years, right? And I'm asking this because there may be somebody, because sometimes people think that if you only people who grew up in bad situations
Yeah,
go to prison, right?
yeah, yeah.
How does that happen? And somebody may be listening and they have a kid and they know they're doing everything that they can, but yet their child is making wrong decisions. How does this happen and what can they do?
Okay. My experience with making choices and decisions were based upon options. I think options were available to me. I think I had every option from sports to academics to the streets.
Mhm.
And being that those options were open to me, I, at that point in my immaturity, was looking for the easy way, or what I thought in my mind was the easy way. Like academics, that's tough. I can do it, but it's going to take more work. Sports, I can play a little bit of ball, but that's going to take a little more work. So I'm going to find the easiest path to prosperity in my mind at the time.
Mhm.
So I had all those options. I had a granddad that was very knowledgeable about life.
Mhm.
Not book smart, but life smart, common sense. And he instilled a lot of that in me. And although I didn't use it when I should have, he planted those seeds.
Mhm.
He planted those seeds all my life. Even when I didn't use it, he allowed me to bump my head and he'd say, I told you that was going to happen, didn't I?
Mhm.
So it was that type of mentality. He didn't set a pillow down when I failed. He let me fall and let me see, like, hey, I told you what was going to happen if you stuck your finger in that plug. So anybody that has those options readily available, you taking a stab at each one to see which one fits. And I thought that the street game was like, hey, I waited till I was 18 till I got in the streets. It was available when I was 8. But I was in academics and sports and gymnastics and dancing and stuff. And at some point I said, you know what? I think I've been fooling myself. And I gave up. I
Mhm.
gave up. I said, you know, I think I've been fooling myself that the street game ain't for me. This is where I belong. So it kind of chipped away at a lot of what I held on to at a younger age. Life, society, community started to chip away at those dreams, at those hopes, at that young man that had some promise. It chipped away at that promise. So by the time I was 17 or 18, I threw in the towel.
That's good. I'm gonna see now. You talked about dreams, so now I got to go to this part in your book. Let me find when you said that. Like, okay, so there's a part in your. I gotta get this book out. It's really good. And there's a part he says like the cheat sheet, right? But this will really help you regardless because there is no cheat sheet to life, but there is guys that can help you to live your life. And there's something else you say too. I'm gonna get back to that. But you talked about the dreams and it started chipping away, right? And there's something you write in here. You say, I dreamed of becoming Superman. There was nothing internal that told me that I couldn't do it. It was my external circumstances that slowly chipped away at my ambition.
Yes.
Now I own the circumstances around me, both internal and external. I make them work in my favor. I dream like a child again. And so, my question to you, because you talked about what ended up happening, the chipping away, which made me remember what you wrote in the book. A lot of us, and this is not just young people, it's older people too. We get to the point where something has chipped away at us, or our dream has been delayed or denied for so long. How do we get to the place where we can dream again? How do we get to the place where we can resurrect? Like one of my I'm in a pageant. One of my pageant sisters say we have to resurrect the dream. How do we resurrect that again? How can we dream again? How did you dream again?
For so many of us, it will be different. For
Mhm.
me, it was hitting rock bottom. When I hit rock bottom, that did something to me. I thought
Mhm.
that I would be able to escape rock bottom. I'm smart. I got this.
Mhm.
I can remember telling my grandmom and my mom after my grandma passed, "Hey, why you doing this? Don't worry about it. I got this. I got this." So that's one of those things where that's going to be on an individual basis. It might be this conversation you having with Ed today. That might prompt somebody to start dreaming again. When I
Mhm.
hit rock bottom, that was me. It might be a failed relationship. It might be watching a movie on TV. Something sparks it. But the same, I've seen guys, I've seen broken guys. I've seen a lot of broken people, some broken souls. And I've seen the cold stares that they have towards other people. I
Mhm.
seen the reaction they have if somebody just look at them too long. I see the anger and I see the pain come out of these individuals. And I tell them that same pain and that same anger that I see you taking out on that person for stepping on your shoe, that's the same anger that you need to fight for your dreams.
Mm.
You need to
To
fight for
redirect that.
everything
Mhm.
in you. You got to
Yeah.
fight for that dream. You
Mhm.
can't allow it to be stripped away so easily. You gotta wake up in the morning and go to bed at night saying, I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm not gonna let mama, daddy, no relative, no friend,
Mhm.
nobody take this away from me. Because once
Mm.
they take your dreams, you
Ooh.
just existing.
Wow, that's really good. You there's so much good in here. You talk something about you coin a term which I really like. You call it mirror moments. I really like that a lot. And I think that's really good because I think what ends up happening is somebody might be listening to it and be like, well, that's you. That's
Right.
not me. But I
Right.
think we all have those mirror moments.
Mhm.
Were there mirror moments in your life, or maybe you can explain a little bit what that might be if somebody might not really get the gist of it, and
Mhm.
how that has helped shape you?
Yeah, moments, like I said, when you're watching a movie, listening to a song, somebody else's life, their experiences, you can look and it might not be the exact same experience. But when you see this particular situation happen or play out in some way, form, or fashion, it's a
Mm-hmm.
moment where you can look and you can apply it directly to a situation that you might have found yourself in. You
Right.
might look back and see the pain in some woman or some man's eyes, and you can look and say, "Man, I know that pain. I went
Mm-hmm.
through that when I went through my divorce, or when I went through prison, or when I lost my parents, or something like that." And you could just look, and in that mirror moment, it's like, I know that look. I'm very familiar with that look because I've been there.
Mm.
I've been there, and it don't have to be the exact same experience.
Mm-hmm. So you said something too, and this made me think of a question. You said, I got this. I
Mhm,
got this.
mhm.
And I, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Do you think, or do you feel as a man, because one of your things in here, one of your building blocks is a man has to work, right? Get up and work.
Mhm, mhm,
So that thought process of I got this,
mhm.
did that ever become a barrier as a man of feeling like you have to have this, you have to always show up in a certain kind of way?
Yes, definitely. I talk about this with the youth a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
it's being the go-to guy.
Okay.
Your manhood is attached to, in your, especially in the urban community, it's attached to your friends, your relatives, your family members, to how loyal you are, to how when that phone ring, is you there to answer it. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of us, our pride and our manhood is attached. So you
Right.
can have a wife, you can have a child, and they can be laying next to you. You can get a call at 1 in the morning, but you the go-to guy. So therefore, your wife, your daughter, your son is looking at you like, "Daddy, it's 1 in the morning. We sleep." Well, my boy called. I gotta go. And so many of us as men it's once again it's toxic because that go-to guy Now, eventually, you being the go-to guy is going to weaken you. You won't
Mm-hmm.
have enough energy and you won't have enough focus to run your own race
Right.
because you the go-to guy. You're going to be there for any and everybody. And that's not how this thing called life is designed. You have a destiny
Mm,
and you must fulfill your destiny. That's why you here.
mm,
What the next person, if they don't fulfill their destiny, that's kind of, and not kind of, it is on them.
right.
But when you try to take on your destiny, their destiny, you're not giving that much time, energy, and effort on this earth to do all of that.
So how did you start or what can you suggest for people to start, especially men, young men, grown men, to start setting those healthy boundaries and still not feel like it is impeding on their manhood?
Okay, definitely. That's one of those things where it's so attached that we get it mixed up. Where yes is stronger than no.
That's good.
No is the smallest word, but no carry a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not secure in your manhood and you're not firm, and you ain't standing on firm ground, it's so difficult to say no. It's
Mm-hmm.
so difficult to say no. So when you are in a situation where I'm observing young men and they don't have the ability to look their peers directly in their eyes and say, "Man, I love you," but no,
Mm,
that then we got work to do because that young man is vulnerable. He's very vulnerable if he don't have the ability to tell his peers no. If the
yes.
pressure is that strong, that's a vulnerable young man. No matter how big he is, no matter what he's carrying, what he's thinking in his mind, you vulnerable, young man, because you don't have
Mhm.
the ability to stand in front of your friends and your peers and say no.
That's good. Actually, when you say no, that makes your yes even more powerful.
It makes your yes even that much more powerful.
Yes, because then I
Exactly.
know when you're yes, you're
Yeah,
really committed. You're really ready to show up and
that's
you're
right.
available, you
Yes,
know. And
yes.
so you do a lot. We didn't even get into everything you do. Yeah, you own a barber shop, right? You cut
Mhm.
hair. I don't know if you cut or you just own it. Do you cut hair
Yeah,
as well? You
I
own
cut
it,
hair
you
as
cut
well.
it. Okay. You have the trucking business.
I do.
You're offer, you're out motivating, speaking, and doing all that.
Yes.
Because you say a man must get up and work. Because there, in your book here, you say that there must be action behind what you intend to do. And
Yeah, you
so
have to.
obviously you're doing a lot. How do you get to that point? How do you get to the point where it's a mindset, I guess, where you get to that intent,
Mhm.
and then how do you get that balance? Because you're doing a lot. So
Okay. So naturally, since I can remember, I can go back to the age of 5. I've
mhm,
always been a busybody.
mhm,
I've never been a sit around guy. You know, I spent every moment that I could on the playground. Basketball, baseball, football. I could ride past the playground now and see maybe 5 kids. When I was growing up, it was at least 30 on a daily basis. So I grew up doing that. And I don't even know what it feels like to not be grinding, so to speak. I don't even want to think about that because I spent 20 years of my life itching to get back to the grind. So with me being out here, you know, I look at it as an opportunity to help build not only my life but help others as well. So when I need balance, I learned some things about myself as well, is that I need tranquility. Even
mm,
when I don't want it, I know to pull back. I know to sit at home by myself or go to bed and just let myself get that tranquility because that keeps me charged, that keeps me focused, that keeps me sharp. And that's one thing that I told myself when I came from prison. With a simplified life, you're very sharp because you're not all over the place. You don't have everything pulling you in 90 different directions. So when you in prison, you don't have people pulling at you. You got 3 meals. It's designed for you. Everything is set up for you. So you have time to really sharpen yourself.
yeah.
And I told myself, I said, when I go home, I'm gonna keep it simple so I can
Hmm.
stay sharp. I want to
Right.
stay sharp. So when
Hmm.
I feel myself getting dull or I feel business is getting
Mm-hmm.
too much of me, I simplify it. I call it the shark mentality, because
Mm,
a shark does nothing but swim and eat. So if you're a shark, you gotten everything out and you swimming and you eating. Swim and eat. Then when you look up after 90 days, you've accomplished so much.
right.
So I keep it balanced by saying, hey, let me reel it in and
Mm-hmm.
simplify it. You know, in business, they say the kiss, keep it simple.
We can come up with our own S.
Right, because right, you insert your own S there.
Right. That's good. So, thank you for all that you're doing because this is amazing. And so, you've been out. How long have you been back with us in the community doing all this great work?
I came home October 18th, 2016. So 3 years and about 6 months. So I've been home 3.5 years.
Now that alone, y'all gotta give some hearts, some love. We're giving that virtual love right now. And the reason why I wanted you to share that is because I was on a call this morning, and the call that I was on, they said that we have to stop complaining. We have to stop complaining with
Mm,
our mouth and start complaining with our feet.
yes,
Meaning we got to start doing some action,
that's
right?
right.
And that's what
Yes,
you did like 3 years
yes,
out. You
yes,
took exactly what I talked about earlier. You said, you
yes.
know what? No, I'm not going to be confined in there and then come out here and be confined as well.
Right.
You decided to change your life. And so I think that alone is inspiration. That alone, I hope that motivates whoever is listening to here. Don't allow time, don't allow age. You can be young, you can be, I don't care how old you are, you can decide,
That's
you know
right.
what, today I'm going to make a difference and move forward. Because in 3 years, look, you have two businesses, you're an author, because what you're doing stuff in DOC, correct? Am I correct?
Mhm.
I mean, we didn't even get y'all need to go to his website and check him out, okay? We didn't even get into all the details of what this man is accomplishing. And I think that's very key that you are focused and you have intention. What is your intention, people? Find some intention, focus on that. And then take a break when you need to. So back to this book real quick. Man, the time is going so quick. And I didn't even get to my other question. I emailed him questions, y'all. And these questions I'm asking him, I didn't even email him because I was just like, wait a minute, I got to talk about this book first. But because he was really, I'm sorry, y'all got to get this book. Y'all see it? It's the answers, y'all. That's all I'm saying. So in here, you said the only problem with fail is that we equate it to failure and remain stuck. I gotta say that that's
Yeah.
tweetable, y'all, right there. Y'all go ahead and tweet that and then shout out Ed with that, okay? The only problem with fail is we equate that to failure and we remain stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do we get unstuck? How do we change our mindset so that so we don't see failure as, we attach it to ourselves?
Mhm. You
What
you
did you
just
do?
you just said it. It's a mindset. It's a mindset because your level of thoughts, as you
Mm-hmm,
raise your level of thoughts, your circumstances will rise with your level of thought, because where the mind goes, the body's going to follow.
mm-hmm,
So if you've been conditioned to believe something, you only can go with your conditioning until you have to say, you know what, I have to break that down. I know mama taught me this. I know daddy taught me this. I know I learned this in the hood. I know I learned this at school, but this is not true. This is something that I need to change, because if I keep thinking like this, I'm not going to get to where I want to be in life. So it's kind of breaking away from what we've been taught. I like to tell people that adversity was introduced to me like tears, cussing, anger, pain, and that's adversity. And although adversity is painful, but what I've got to learn and what I've got to know about adversity is that that's only on the front end of adversity. On the
mm-hmm.
back end of adversity is blessings, is growth, is
Ooh,
knowledge.
come
So
on now.
therefore, I'm like, nobody never introduced adversity to me like this. But
Mm,
now I've had a chance to go through my own extreme amount of adversity.
Yes,
And on
yes.
the front end, I was facing life.
Mm.
On the back end, I'm trying to help people with life.
You a preacher too?
No,
Come on up in this room now.
no,
Hey, don't have us shouting, okay?
no, no. Hey, you know what? These just options. These are just options. I ain't
That's
gonna
a
get
good
no more
word.
trouble.
Front end, I had life. On the back end, I'm helping people find their life. That is so good. That's good. That's good, y'all. Y'all, these nuggets. I see Nancy was on. Shout out to Nancy. We love you, Nancy. Nancy is a powerful woman as well. You know, I could go on and on, but I do want to talk before I start with this book because you said I have. Look, this book is all marked up, but I want to try to get to something because you said something. I want to talk about the voices that we listen to, the change mindset.
Yeah.
So, okay, I almost could cry, so that's why I had to stop for a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, so people, who voices are you listening to? And so in here, you talked about, you said, I don't even think I can read this. I can't. You talked about, I'm serious. I told y'all I get sensitive. Like I can visualize this in my head, and I wasn't even there. I don't even know. But 3 months away from your graduation, like you no longer had that positive voice of your grandfather, and so you didn't finish, right? And so what can people do? Like if they don't have that positive voice, like some people never had a positive voice in their life.
Yeah.
And normally, whatever voice is the loudest you can kind of tell by the way people are acting. That voice is the loudest voice in your life.
Yeah.
So, what can people do when either they lost that voice that was that positive influence, or they don't even have that positive voice influence in their life?
Okay. Yeah, this is really deep. I think I can um credit my granddad for keeping me out of trouble as long as I stayed out of trouble. I know for a fact if he hadn't been there, I probably would have been in trouble a lot sooner, and I probably wouldn't have been able to change my life because what he gave me, although I didn't use it at the time, I used it later in life. But I will say the positive. Let me just start with this. The negative things, man. I watch Boys in the Hood. I watch Menace to Society. I watched all of the toxic movies every day. I've listened to all the toxic music, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. That's all I listened to. Everything I hung around was definitely fits the mold. It was no like breaking news of what path I was on because everything I watched, listened to, and hung around was that voice. So
Mm-hmm.
when I got to prison, and I hope you guys listen to this, when I got to prison, it's not much positivity to find there. It's you against the guards, the warden, and then it's you against the people that's constantly pounding you with what they're gonna do when they get out, which is 90% of the time the wrong thing. So I told myself, I said, you know what? I got to be creative. I got to be creative. So I watched a lot of Denzel Washington. I watched John Q like 99 times. John Q. Everything I read was somebody that overcame the odds. And
Mm-hmm.
these became my new friends. I started to rip the articles out of magazines and post them on my wall. They were articles of people that might have got paralyzed and still graduated top of their class in college. It might have been
Mm-hmm.
people that lost their parents and they had 5 siblings and they raised their 5 siblings to go on to become lawyers and still raise their kids. And now the kids is in college. They raised their brothers and sisters from the age of 16. And these type of stories. And I said, you know what? My life got to be just like that. I want my story to be like that. So I made them my new friends. I made them my new voices. I
Wow.
surrounded myself around as many people, article wise, movie wise, music wise. I just every day, all day, and I still do that to this day. I
That's
condition
good.
myself to take in positive, positive people that's defeating any situation that they find themselves in. And if you put enough of that in there, you're gonna start thinking like, you know what? My situation ain't as bad as hers or as bad as his. I got this. I can overcome this.
Yes, that's good.
But if you
Wow.
surround yourself around a number of people that's defeated and giving up, then you're gonna follow suit.
Mm, wow. That's good. So I think that they have to make a decision and a choice like you did. Like,
You
I'm
do.
going to seek it out. If you
Yeah.
can't, if it's not around you, go
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah. They say the greatest charity is helping somebody that help themselves.
Whew,
That's the greatest charity that you can give.
that's good. That's good. Wow, I can't believe we almost had 45 minutes. This was good. Okay. So, and like I said, I didn't get to any of the questions I emailed you. Sorry about that. But
It's all right. It's all right.
so again, I'm gonna show this really quick, you guys, because I want to make sure that you guys know um about this book. I want you guys to get this book if you don't have it. Make sure that you're supporting because it's amazing. Again, I didn't even get actually I highlighted so much more, but we didn't even have time for all of that either. So um make sure that you check that out as well. And of course my screen isn't working right now. So but make sure that you check that out and I'll let you what we'll do is put it in the feed where you can where they can go to get your book. Again, I'll I had a little picture ready. But make sure that you go to his website to get the book. I got my copy. It's amazing. I also got y'all, he got look, change.
Oh,
What? I'm
yeah.
gonna make a change. Come on. Okay, it ain't Michael, but it's Ed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay. Change is a new hustle, right?
Change is
We
the
have
new
to,
hustle.
yes, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Come get your own brand. What's your brand? You know what? We're your own brand, right?
That's right. That's
We're
right.
doing so. And what will your legacy be? What do you want your legacy to be when you are gone and long gone? What do you want
Yeah.
the vibrations of this world to still say about you?
Um, just what I just one thing is very important is once again dream, but no matter what situation that you're in, no matter what somebody may seem is right or wrong, and the chips look like they down, keep fighting, keep fighting. And we all have a story. This is Ed's comeback story.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own comeback story. We all trying to get it out the mud. You have your opportunity in your own life to write your own comeback story. And I would want anybody to don't dwell on Ed's comeback story. Check it out for a minute, get motivated, inspired by it, and then go write your own comeback story. Go come back from whatever it is or whatever challenge that you have in your life right now. Something that's standing in front of you that's keeping you from where you want to be. Look at Ed for a minute and then know that you can go and make your own story just as reliable, credible, and worthy of somebody to talk about.
Wow, thank you so much. That is amazing. I think I finally got it. Let's see. Here we go. I hope you guys can see this. Let's see. Think we are here. So,
Okay.
so you guys make sure that you go and get the book. And again, I still put the website in the talk in the chat to make sure you guys get the book, support, and better yet, it's a good read. Woman, man, whether you have children, don't you have? I mean, it's just a really great read. You see, I was about to tear up here. I
Could I
couldn't even read a part. You know
could I
what I
say
mean?
could I say one thing about that book real
Yes,
quick?
please do.
Um, I work with a wonderful publisher. I can talk, but writing, they say if you could do it by yourself, your dream ain't big enough. And I
Yes.
work with a wonderful publisher from Talk Publishing. She really sat me down and she brought tears to my eyes just writing the book. She knew how to come in there and pull it up out me. So I really want to give her credit for that book because that book is doing really well. It's in all 36 Department of Correction institutions, and the Wisconsin Department of Corrections. They love it. It's doing really well with the fellas. So, I want to give her credit for, making me look good on this one.
Yes. I have to give a shout out to Talk Consulting too. I'm a part of the Author Lab, so my book is coming out as well, Hey, yes. The Author Lab, Jolanda Rogers is amazing, and her team is amazing. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this interview. Thank you so much for joining us. And in final words, I want you to give final words to anybody that might be listening that has given up, that said they can't do it anymore. Any final words that you want to say to them in closing?
Mhm. I want to say this is that you have a destiny to fulfill here in this world. Walk in your gift. Find your gift, find your purpose and your calling. Your job is what you hired to do, but your calling is what you wired to do. I want to tell you that if you're left-handed or if you're right-handed, if you're writing with your dominant hand, you're going to do a lot better than putting it in that other hand. Right now, a lot of us are writing in our less dominant hand and we're trying to make it happen. That's not walking in your gift. Find your gift, put it in your dominant hand, even if you got to adapt from time to time to that offhand. But what I want you to do is put it in that dominant hand and walk in your gift, and you'll see how far in life you're going to go.
Wonderful. And finally, how can people reach you? Where can they get the book? How can they connect with you? How can they book you? Give us that
Right,
contact
right.
information.
For follow me on social media, you can go to Instagram, Ed Hennings 1. Ed Hennings 1 on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm just regular Ed Hennings. Daily motivationals. Every day I try to drop a couple. Number 2 is booking me for speaking engagements. Go to edhennings.com to purchase the book. You also can go to edhennings.com and my online store, theanswersbyed.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, you guys. Let's show some love by giving hearts thumbs up. This was amazing. Blessings to you. We're grateful here at Project Restoration. We're grateful here at the Successful Chat. This definitely was a success. I would say I was inspired. I was definitely motivated. And I appreciate what you have given back to the community by sharing your journey and sharing your story. It was definitely amazing. We here are proud of you. We are so grateful that you have decided to make a change and then you're giving back to the community. Blessings to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So thank you guys for joining us. We are so grateful that you guys decided to join us. Make sure that you do not miss us next month. Again, every month we have somebody different that's going to share these nuggets with you to tell you how they made it over. I'm a little silly, but thank you guys. Until next time, be great.